In this video, we'll cover using a custom struct with the MCC Melody data streamer. This will be useful once you have the data streamer working and you'd like to more quickly add new variables to be plotted. So in this use case, we are going to add a new variable, and we're going to do this using a custom struct. So this means all the elements in this structure, my struct, will be sent as a frame to the data visualizer every time we send a frame. So opening up the API reference, selecting the family, and now in the how to use section, we're going to choose the second use case. So instead of the generated struct, we're going to replace this with our own custom struct. This allows us to flexibly adjust what we send and what we plot on the data visualizer. So the configuration is the same as before, and they are noting that we will have to modify the datastreamer.ds file manually. So the first code snippet here is actually doing just that, adding a new variable here. You can see that the send frame is the same, but now we have our own structure, which we initialize with the datastreamer package set with the address and size of my struct. So at the top of main here, we paste our my struct, which includes the new 32 variable. So control and space twice to make sure we get all the options, and we can select the datastreamer package set API, which we add the address of my struct and the size of my struct. So what we can do is replace the name of the struct that we are pointing to in the frame update as well as in the initialization. And remembering that we need to add the new variable or initialize the new variable. Then the other thing we need to remember to do is to update the variable as well, which we'll do at a different rate from the other UN32, just so that we can distinguish them apart. Now, I did mention that we have to adjust the DS file directly. So this then becomes the same. It's a Word type. A section in the DataStreamer user guide has now been updated to include a description of the DataStream file configuration format. So configuration and code complete, we can program the board. So going back to the data visualizer after programming, we can see that the variables are a little messed up now, and that's because we need to update what the data visualizer is expecting. We are sending an extra variable, and so these variables don't make sense. So editing the variables that we have, we can import again from our DS file, and now we have this new 32 variable here. So the variables are now behaving as expected, but we don't yet have our new variable. So we're going to add it on the same axis as the other UN32. And here you can see we have the new variable, and it is moving at a different rate. So experience counts when it starts repeating, so let's go through this process one more time. This time we'll pick a new UN16. Add it in frame update. This time we're going to make it double the rate that we were working with before, and we're going to initialize it. Okay, so that should be fine. Program the board. You can see that as program is complete, we lose some of the behavior, back to the DS file. New 16. Okay, so we are going to edit, load. Note, one doesn't have to use the DS file. One can manually add variables or remove them as well. Now we have our new 16, save. Behavior now comes back to what it was, and here we can add a new plot of our new 16. And there we've successfully added a new variable. And that also summarizes the reason why having a custom struct can be so useful in using the data visualizer.